rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine. Wasn't always just a single shade, a palette full of gray in reverie. And I can burn it brighter than the sun. I have a golden gun inside of me. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else. And if I fall behind, ignoring all the signs, if I lose the fight, I still rage against the night. Don't box I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine.
Hello gamers from around the world, this is Boxenberger, the video game enthusiast from Germany, and I would like to welcome you to this week's episode of the World of Gaming Dutch. We are back after our summer break. We had to take a break the last, 2 weeks since I've been on summer vacation, been in Denmark, and it was fantastic. Beautiful country. First time I've actually been there. And it was fantastic. I'm feeling relaxed. I'm feeling energized again. And I can't wait to be back this week with you, my man. But before I welcome you properly, let me welcome our awesome community. Big welcome to you guys, everyone who's already joining us here live in the chat. A big welcome. Good evening to you. And a big welcome, of course, to everyone who listens after the fact, either here on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening. Big welcome to you. And Dutch, how have you been over the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, whilst you've been sunning it up in Denmark, I've been at work and at the gym. And just, generally just tired from both. So, yeah, other than that, great.
Good to hear. All right. So, yeah, man, we left for the summer vacation just right in the middle of the week where Gamescom happened. So we couldn't join Gamescom, the live coverage of it. But of course, we're going to break a couple of things down. Not everything, because, I mean, it's almost 2 weeks. It was almost 2 weeks ago, and we have other news to talk about as well. But I'm looking forward to a great podcast here today. And so, again, a big welcome to everyone. And as always, we would like to start this podcast with the most important part in gaming, and that are the games that we are currently playing. So, Dutch, let everyone know what kept you busy over the last couple of weeks. And, of course, we want to hear from everyone in the chat. What have you guys been playing lately, and how do you enjoy the games you're playing? So, Dutch, what kept you busy, man?
Yeah, I've been playing a few things. To be fair, I'm still playing through Final Fantasy 16 a little bit. Of course, because I've already finished that on PS5, I'm just slowly chipping away on Xbox. So I'm in absolutely no rush to finish that anytime soon. But I am enjoying it, playing through it again. I also
It is a fantastic Final Fantasy.
yeah, it's fantastic. Speaking of Final Fantasies, though, I also started Final Fantasy 9 again from scratch. I was really in a mood for a classic Final Fantasy, and I missed Final Fantasy 9, so I decided to start.
It is a good one.
It is. It
Second
is
best ever release.
It is. Aside from 6, 9 is the best of the modern old ones.
Yeah. I would say 7 is the best,
the original
and
classics.
then 9, and then 6.
For me, the original classics were 6, then 9, then 7.
7 is at the top. 7, 9, 6.
You see. For me, it was 6, 9, 7.
There you go.
So yeah, I mean, I would never turn my nose up at a Final Fantasy 9 remake. I would love that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Aside from that, and still playing Pokemon Scarlet, which I got the DLC for eventually. It's been out
on the Switch
ages.
2.
Yeah, Switch 2. Fantastic. Adds the DLCs were 2 story expansions, so it's good to get a little bit more on that as well. And picked up Helldivers 2. So we played Helldivers 2 on the other day as well.
Are you enjoying that?
Yeah, only played a little bit of it. I'm gonna have to, when I've got time, gonna have to play it with friends to see what it's like with friends. But no, it's good so far. It seems pretty simplistic, to be fair. Jump in, kill things, fix things, leave. Seems straightforward. I haven't really had as much time with it as I'd have liked. But in terms of how much it cost, it's like 30 odd bucks. So
is it? Is it not a full price game?
No, it's super cheap.
I thought it was full.
Yeah, no.
Okay, that's a fair asking point.
Yeah, it's like 50 something for the deluxe version and like 30 something for the regular version. So I was like, oh, that's all right. That's super cheap. So I picked that up.
At that price point, I'll check that out as well.
Yeah,
because I'm not, and I honestly I never really checked, but it was obvious or clear to me that this is a full priced game, and I really don't have the time for it. But at that price point, I might just check it out.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, definitely, and so yeah, that's really what's been keeping me occupied when I have. Oh, and obviously still Football Manager.
Yeah.
Football Manager eventually today, because of course, for those who play Football Manager know that they cancelled Football Manager 25 due to complications and delays, and obviously with yearly iterations like FC 25, as you know, FIFA and Football Manager and things like that, because the seasons change every year, if you miss it too far, you've missed it entirely. Yeah. So it got to a point with the delay to Football Manager 25 that they had to just outright cancel FM 25 and move to FM 26. And eventually today released gameplay footage of FM 26.
Interesting.
So,
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's obviously improved graphically. It looks like you're watching a little bit more like you're watching FIFA than you are playing Football Manager graphically.
Okay.
So it's a nice improvement on that front. And of course, purists of Football Manager will tell you that they always play in 2D mode, which is like the top-down Subutio kind of effect. But no, I've been playing that, of course. Finished off the season with Newcastle, won everything. And then, like I say, that's just...
Unlike in real life.
Unlike in real life, where we only won one thing last year. But this is the beauty of these things, of games, is imaginary things can happen.
Yeah.
But no, it's like I say, I've been enjoying... I'm enjoying the single-player RPGs a lot, like Pokemon and Final Fantasy and things like that. because I can play a bit, I can play a little bit of the story, I can grind things and kind of level up things, and then I can just save it and turn it off. I don't have to worry about really progressing too much of the story. I can just have fun and then turn it off.
Yeah.
Which is good when you've had a long day at work and you just want to chill out for half an hour or an hour and you haven't really got time to do much else.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What's been keeping you occupied on vacation?
So I've played a lot of my Ellie, of course. I had that with me. I played Gears Reloaded on that thing, and it runs beautiful on the Xbox Ellie. It's not the Xbox Ellie, the original ROG Ellie. I don't have the Xbox Ellie yet. It runs beautiful on that thing, on medium settings at around 60 FPS. And I'm having a blast with Gears Reloaded. Playing through Gears again is just pure fun. Obviously, when you played the last remaster, what was it called? Was it called Gears Remaster? Or
Gears of War Ultimate Edition.
Ultimate Edition, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, of course, if you look at like comparison videos on Digital Foundry, you see the noticeable difference. But when you're actually playing it, it just looks like how I reminded the Ultimate Edition, right?
Yeah.
8-9 years ago. But I'm having a blast again. The game is still a lot of fun. You can tell with little things. For instance, the AI is horrible. Yeah, but that's just how games were.
Yeah.
Like when came the original Gears 1 out 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Of course, you can tell that. But other than that, it's pure fun. It looks fantastic. I haven't finished it on the Ellie. So when I got home from vacation in Denmark, I booted it up and picked it up again on the Xbox Series X, and of course, there with HDR and everything, it does look fantastic. Honestly, from a visual point of view, it could easily pass as a 2025 game, right? It does look fantastic and plays fantastic, and yeah, I'm having a blast with that, man. My only criticism is, as much as I love the HDR implementation, it makes the game look very colorful. Yeah, like aesthetically, it looks more like Gears 4 or 5 than it does, because the original Gears, remember, was very dark and very gritty. So I don't know, for instance, if you remember that scene when the Krill came out for the first time during night, and you have everything is dark, and this is now, okay, you have a bright shining moon with beautiful God rays in blue darkish colors. It looks fantastic, but it doesn't have this dark and gritty tone anymore. And that got me thinking, Dutch, what will happen with Gears E-Day? Because from the trailer, the reveal trailer, we all thought, oh yeah, they are going back to this dark and gritty world and not the colorful world that we had in Gears 5. Don't get me wrong, Gears 5 looked fantastic. It still does look phenomenal. But it has these lush forests, these bright popping colors and everything, And it looked to me like with Gears E-Day, they are going back to this original, more darker look.
Yeah.
From the trailer, from the reveal trailer, at least I got that impression, and I wonder if all these modern techniques like HDR will lead to the fact that this game is going to look more colorful. So I don't know. Let's see where this ends up. But other than that, it's fantastic. I've only played like a handful of multiplayer matches, so far. But I definitely intend to go in there more depth in the multiplayer, which is also still just pure fun. I love the Gears multiplayer. So yeah, I've been playing that. Then I played Arkham Asylum again on the alley,
Yeah.
and also still just a fantastic game. Yeah, but other than that, I played a bit of The Witcher on the alley during my vacation. So, and then when I got home, of course, I could play on the big screen again. And Dutch today, Silksong came out. I haven't played much because it literally like released 2 hours before we started the podcast. But earlier today, I booted up Silksong and I played the first 1.5 hours or so. Then I had to get ready for the podcast.
Yeah.
But Silksong is finally here, man.
How'd you find it? I know you were a big Hollow Knight fan.
Absolutely, I am. From the first 1.5 hours that I've played, it's exactly what I was hoping it to be. It has this great atmosphere, just like the first one, for an indie game and that budget, an absolutely phenomenal soundtrack. It just fits the mood so perfectly. And you have these little acoustic hints that you get to navigate you through the map, which is just so well done. Absolutely well done. The gameplay is on point, it feels the traversing feels really good. The combat is just on point. It is you need to get used to the movement and everything, but it is challenging but not like unfair. And
Yeah.
man, I can't wait to play more. So I can't really say much more because again, it literally came out 2 hours before the podcast started, so didn't have the chance to play much more. I will give my thoughts way more in depth next week when I have played more. But the first impression is exactly what I was hoping it to be. I found the map now for the first time, and maybe a little advice to the starters. Don't waste the money on the map. When you find the first map guy, buy the compass first.
Mm-hmm. Why is that?
Because the map doesn't show you where you are.
Okay.
You don't have the compass. And it helps you much more to have the compass first to give you at least a hint where you are, and then buy the map, and then you can see, okay, where you need to go. It's better that way. And you're very short on money at the beginning of the game. So
Right.
you have to really think what to buy first. But yeah, man, Silksong, I cannot wait to play more. I've also downloaded, but haven't started yet, the Indiana Jones DLC. I will
I need to
probably
download
try
it, to
that.
be fair, because I got the Ultimate Edition thing as well, so I need to download it and play the expansion.
Yeah. So I will definitely play that, probably over the weekend. And yeah, man, that is what has kept me busy. Of course, during my vacation, I haven't played too much because I spent a lot of time, of course, with the kids and the wife and exploring Denmark, which is, by the way, a beautiful country. First time I've been there. Very insanely beautiful country, and very friendly people there. Very welcoming. I can absolutely recommend Denmark as a vacation.
Just
target.
remortgage your house first.
Yeah, because it is insanely expensive, especially stuff like food and drinks and everything. It is insanely expensive, more expensive than Switzerland, man. But a beautiful country,
Yeah.
definitely. All right, let's see what the chat has been up to. Sith Lord sends in a channel member chat for being a channel member for 37 months. So first of all, thank you so much.
Yeah, I want to shout out Stu as
for the
well, because he's been a channel member on here for 36 months. So
there you go. Appreciate the long time support. And Sith Lord says, my two favorite podcasts go together like pineapple on pizza. I don't know if that's a compliment, dude.
it's not to us. How dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you?
But it's great to see you. What did Stu say in his channel member chat?
He didn't. He just 36 months. But hello, Stu.
There you go.
He just said best pod intro right here. Fire.
All right. Let's see what the community has been playing.
Yes.
Pyro has been playing Zenless Zone Zero, Brotato, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy.
Oh.
Interesting playlist there. Not the usual stuff, dude. Then we have Dustin Lambert, who has been playing Prince of Persia, the ROG game. Really fun. It is. Prince of Persia was fantastic. Really, really good Metroidvania. What else? Dutch, do we have someone in your chat?
Yeah, we've got a few in mind. Andrew Cullinane has been playing, he said the new updates got him to jump back into No Man's Sky again.
Ooh, yeah, I heard they added shipbuilding and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, yeah, so that's got people playing that again. Amish AI has been playing Silksong.
That's the spirit. Any comment on how he likes it?
Not as yet. Not as yet.
Okay.
Studos is currently downloading Silksong. Sin, he's been hell diving. He's just finished RoboCop and he's playing 60 FPS Hellblade 2. He said, man, that game is insane looking at 60 frames. And Studos has also been playing Warzone, Gears Reloaded, Halo, some Forza Horizon, and will be playing Silksong later tonight. So Studios has been on the Xbox Game Studios romp there, by the sounds of things.
yeah, it does sound like that. All right, good stuff. So I've just put up, or I just closed the poll in the chat. So for those who listening or watching here on YouTube, they can watch now Silksong gameplay, which surprisingly won today's vote. So I only recorded about the first hour or so of the game, but there will definitely be more gameplay available next week. All right, Dutch. So let us get into some actual news of the week. Yesterday, 28 minutes of gameplay for the new James Bond was shown. There was a dedicated state of play with just that game in it. So the new 007 James Bond First Light from IO Interactive was shown off with an intensive segment of gameplay. And Dutch, let me hear your thoughts. I mean, obviously you've seen it. What did you think of the James Bond gameplay reveal, First Light gameplay reveal?
It looks all right. It's like Uncharted mixed in with Hitman. I think it's...
Yeah, in a good way, though. Yeah. I was actually really surprised. I really liked it.
It looks all right. I mean, it's a little bit more action than it is stealth. They showed a little bit of stealth gameplay, but then they showed them being very run and gun and, like, taking down an entire base and things. And I was like, okay, that's less the Bond that I want to see.
Really?
Yeah. I don't mind the occasional like car chase like you see with Bond and things, but I think it's been a handful of sequences in the entire kind of Bond universe where he takes out entire bases worth of villains. And the vast majority of the time it's been when he's trying to escape something because something's went wrong. So yeah, it looks okay to me. It looks a little bit generic.
I totally got a different impression, honestly. I really thought, okay, they're just going to slap the James Bond skin on Hitman. And I was really happy that they didn't.
Yeah.
It started off with this scene, where you entered this gigantic villa and you sneak around a little bit, do a little bit of traversal, sneaking into this big house, finding stuff. Then everything goes to hell, and you have the car chase, and then you gotta take down or escape. I wasn't really sure what it was, but this entire base, and I agree with you. It does look or remind you a lot of Uncharted, but since we are not getting any Uncharted game anytime soon, I'm happy for First Light to fill that spot. And I thought it was a great mixture of these. You have this more stealthy segment, then you have a car chase. We have car chases in like every Bond movie, right? A couple of them in every movie. And then you have the big set piece where you blow up this entire base and shoot your way out. I really enjoyed that. It looks fantastic. It does have a little like performance issues, you can tell.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people hate on that, but it is still an early build. The game comes out now in March 26, so it's still like a good 6 months to polish that up. So I wouldn't worry about it before we actually play it in a not so good state. But until then, they have the Hitman games always came out actually really well or properly optimized.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about that honestly at the moment. And from the gameplay, I was really happy to see that it's not just like Hitman with the Bond name on it, but that they are trying to actually do a kind of different game, and I'm okay with it being a more like action oriented Bond approach. I'm excited for it, honestly. Visually, it looked fantastic. Some great explosions, some cool lighting effects. The animation seemed pretty good. So I was honestly, it climbed up on my anticipation list. Honestly, so I'm excited for it, and with the release date in March, we don't have to wait too long, like another 6 months. But I could see that this time of 26 is getting kind of crowded because a lot of publishers want to get their game out
Yeah.
with a little bit of distance to the big release in May with GTA 6. And I feel like early 26 is going to be crowded.
Yeah.
And I would also assume that either Fable or something from Xbox is gonna be there. We already have a couple of other games in that release window, early 26, I hope that it will not get overlooked in the release of many other things, because even though I think it looks fantastic and I'm really looking forward to it, I'm not sure if it is big enough to compete in an environment where you have like 2-3 other major releases close to it. Crimson Desert is coming in that time frame, and a bunch of others as well,
Yeah.
Resident Evil, and so on. So I hope that it will not get overlooked if it's really that good, how it looks from the first 30 minutes or so that we've seen now. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of titles are going to be very careful about when it releases and the crowd it has. There's going to be a certain subsection that are really looking forward to trying it with Bond. I think the Bond name will carry it to a certain degree, but a lot of people that also a lot of Hitman fans will play it anyway just because it's by IOI Interactive and they play Hitman. So
yeah,
I think it'll be successful regardless. I think ultimately it will be unlike Hitman where it doesn't really boil down to the story. I think a lot of people, a lot of the reviews will boil down to the Hitman story and how that does and how it kind of fares. The Bond story and how that fares. And also the gadgets and things. It depends on how the reviews go that way, but ultimately, yeah, gameplay wise, as long as they smooth out some of the performance issues that they had in this technical alpha demo, whatever it was that they showed off at PlayStation, then it should do all right. It should do okay, but it's a very busy beginning of the year, so I think every game's got a chance of potentially getting impacted by that.
Yeah. That's the thing with GTA. GTA is just such a juggernaut, and everyone will be careful in releasing their game close to it. So a month before and after GTA, basically April and June, you will not see many games come out. They will just be very careful, and that makes other periods very crowded because releasing after June, let's say in July, and wait until the first initial hype of GTA 6 has died off.
Yeah.
Isn't really a good month. July, August are usually quiet month for releases because of summer breaks and everything.
Yeah.
And so you kind of have to get your game out by the beginning of April or before that, or then later in the year in the early holiday season starting in September also. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that will lead to very busy and crowded months. So, and usually we've seen that in the past, games that I'm not sure if it's fair to say that 007 has a little bit more a double A shine to it because it obviously aims to be a triple A game.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? It is not one of the super duper hype games.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and when these kind of games release in a busy and crowded period, it can be difficult for certain games. So let's hope that this isn't the fate of 007 because I think they've done a good job so far from what they've shown.
Fingers
Let's
crossed.
stick with new game announcements, man. And I've seen nobody talk about this, but just the other day, yesterday, Ubisoft announced that they are working on a new Rayman game. Rayman's 30th anniversary is coming up, and they want to have a new Rayman game ready. It is developed by Ubisoft Milan and Ubisoft Montpellier. They haven't said what kind of Rayman this is going to be, whether it's a 3D, 2D, or anything. They've just announced, okay, we're working on this for the 30th anniversary. So, Dutch, what are your thoughts, and what would you like Rayman to be?
Yeah, I mean, I'm nostalgia-wise, I'm a massive Rayman fan. It's been a long time since we had a Rayman. The last official Rayman we had was Rayman Legends, and like I said, it was such a long time
10
ago.
years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I always look back super fondly on the original Rayman. I had it on the original PlayStation. I played it on the Game Boy Advance. I've still got the Game Boy Advance copy here. I don't have the original Rayman PlayStation copy. But I absolutely adored Rayman. It was the soundtrack, the feel of it, the aesthetics of Rayman, the gameplay. It was all just so good. I absolutely loved it. So I kind of hope that they go arching more, and you will might disagree here, but arch more back to Rayman Classic when they're thinking about the new game, with it being its 30th anniversary, than they do Rayman Legends.
Well, I mean, I do get the nostalgia for the original Rayman. I actually share that. Yeah, it was just fantastic. But Rayman Legends was just insanely good. It is one of the best platformers ever made. And since we don't get these Rayman games too often, I'm fully okay if they would go back and do another one in the vein of Rayman Legends, a 2D fantastic platformer with great music, with fantastic gameplay, with it being challenging at times and everything. But I see the point of Dustin in the chat. He says we've had enough 2D Raymans. It's time for a new 3D Rayman. And I agree, we have gotten more 2D, but then which of the 3D Raymans was really, really good? So since Legends was so brutally and absolutely phenomenally good,
Yeah.
I would love that. I would love that. I'm just glad that they picked that IP up again.
Yeah.
Because I thought the way how Ubisoft works lately, they are not going back to a Rayman. Ubisoft has kind of shifted towards their core pillar IPs, the big AAA games, The, the only one I can think of that didn't have that AAA sticker to it was in recent years was the Prince of Persia game
Yeah.
early last year, which I was surprised that they actually do it. But right after they announced, we are going to focus fully on our core pillar IPs, the Assassin's Creeds and the Far Cry's and so on. So yeah, man, I'm excited for Rayman to come back, and I hope we will see that game rather sooner than later. 30th anniversary. When is that? Is that next year? Let me really.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
check. Hey, it's actually this year.
Oh.
So, interesting.
Oh,
Interesting.
could be a surprise drop this year then.
Could be then just a remake or something. I hope
Remake
not,
of the original. Spruce up the original.
There you go.
You know what I would love Ubisoft to do as well when we're talking on games that did well but were kind of underrated? Child of Light.
Oh yeah. That was also, I want to say, at least 10 years ago.
Yeah, give me
When did
another.
Child of Light.
Give me another. That
Child
was
of
like a turn-based platformer RPG.
Yeah, it was 11 years ago.
Yeah. A
2004.
whimsical storybook platformer RPG.
Yeah. That
Absolutely
was
loved it.
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was this time where Ubisoft had their big AAA. They had their Assassin's Creed
But they
and Watch
also
Dogs and Far
experimented
Cry's.
and did like cool things.
Exactly.
And that's when they had Valiant Hearts. That's when they had Child of Light. That's when they had all of these cool little indie games that they just dropped out in a way that were like fantastic. And then they just stopped. It was like, what are you doing?
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
Right? Dustin in the chat says they sold off the Child of Light IP to Atari.
Oh, that's a damn
I did
shame.
not know that. That's a damn shame. So we are probably never going to see a second one or see anything done with that IP. Yeah, man. So Rayman. I thought that was an interesting kind of news bit that nobody picked up.
It's even more interesting now we know that the 30th anniversary is this year. We could have a new Rayman this year. Woo!
But I feel like if you haven't announced your game by now, it's not going to come out because the next 2-3 months are going to be insane. I mean, just look at today, right? Silksong, along with Indiana Jones DLC, and this is just the beginning of all these big games coming out. Chronos just came out the other day and reviewed pretty good, actually. Right? And then we are heading now into the full holiday season. And if you haven't announced your game by now, I don't doubt that it's going to come out this year. Man, Hertog Win in the chat says Splinter Cell.
Yeah. Weapon X in the chat says Atari may make Child of Light. Atari is making a comeback. I think September 10th they are having a showcase.
Really?
I wonder if they're just going down as a publisher.
That is interesting. I haven't heard that, man. What could they show? I mean, Golden Axe is something. They said they're bringing that back. They had this announcement, I want to say like 2 years ago, where they said like we are bringing back like 10 classic IPs. I remember Golden Axe was one of them, and a couple of others. So who knows? That could be very interesting. I need to look into that Atari showcase in 6 days. You know what also got kind of leaked this week? Sony is apparently going to have another state of play at the end of this month. That Tom Henderson put it out that Wolverine is going to be in that showcase. PlayStation Insomniac is finally apparently ready to reveal gameplay for Wolverine. That it's actually rather coming out sooner than later. He hinted at something as early as this year. So
I feel like it's too year to just drop Wolverine this year.
I kind of doubt it as well. And honestly, I know Tom Henderson has its sources, yeah, with his insider gaming website and everything. And he does have his sources. I don't want to doubt that, but it would kind of be weird.
Yeah, because you've got like in literally like a couple of weeks, you've got Yotai coming out.
Exactly. You've got Yotai coming out. They just had Death Stranding 2 as a timed exclusive though, but still, right?
I just think it's very unlike Sony to just go, here's Wolverine, and by the way, it's releasing in November.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like that's just too quick for them.
Exactly. I also kind of feel like that would be too early.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, because we had that massive leak. When was that? Like 1.5, 2 years ago, where basically the entire game leaked. Yeah. And to recover from it was one of the biggest leaks in video game history, right?
Aside from GTA's release leak.
Exactly. Those are the two that come to mind, right? Yeah. And I kind of feel like 1.5 years or so, or 2 years after such a massive leak to just release the game it does sound weird to me. I feel like that's hard to believe. But then again, Tom Henderson has its sources. Maybe they show it off, but it's actually a 26 game. I could see that. They didn't have a showcase this year. They don't have a roadmap or anything properly for next year other than Marathon coming next year, right?
Yeah.
Because Intergalactic is, if at all this gen, it's coming at the very, very end of this gen. It's a 27-28 game. So they don't have a roadmap, and I doubt that they are going to bring out a Wolverine this year. But I could potentially see them actually having a state of play with the game. Let's see. Let's see. I would love to see it though.
Yep. Same.
Insomniac is fantastic. They do make great games, and I love me some Wolverine.
I would love to see it.
And I wonder,
I just think this year would be far too, especially not taking into account that is they due to have a state of play that would show off Wolverine. Say that's the end of September, then it would be you're not going to release it in October because that's too soon.
yeah, definitely.
November would also be relatively too soon because that would be like less than 2 months, which would leave December. And by that point, you're kind of already out of the Christmas window, as it were, because people try to get everything done by kind of the beginning of December.
Yeah. Although in recent years, other publishers have shown that you can release games in December.
Oh, you
Indiana
can. You
Jones
just you end up
last
with
year.
people buy it using their Christmas money or gift cards and things like that to buy games.
And especially when your target audience is more the like hardcore gaming community, they really don't care. They buy games regardless when they are released. And by then everything is out. They're in December. Let's say you release a game in the middle of December, and for the last 4 weeks nothing new has came out, and then you are the game that comes out right before Christmas, right? And then everyone's playing your game over the Christmas break, and you kind of own the social channels during that period and everything. I mean, it didn't hurt Indiana Jones other than it getting snitched at the Game Awards, right?
Yeah.
But if you leave that out of the equation, you definitely can release a game in December. But I still feel like a 2025 release would be kind of too early and weird, especially for Sony. They kind of want to lead people on and build up the hype and the anticipation and everything.
Yeah.
Would be very unusual, to say the least. So, yeah, let's see. Let's see. Lots of game announcements, man, this week, which is great. From Rayman to James Bond to Wolverine rumors. Love that. Love that. Let us get to Xbox for a moment. xCloud, Dutch. xCloud has been only available with Game Pass Ultimate so far. And Xbox is now bringing Xbox Cloud Gaming to the core and standard Game Pass tiers, the lower Game Pass tiers, which is a big change for cloud gaming and how it is available and how to get access to it. So, what are your thoughts on this, man? Before I give my train of thought on this.
I mean, the only way really to get people interested in playing on cloud gaming is to have more users playing it. So it would make more sense to have access to more people playing on cloud. Of course, people that are on the base versions, core and standard, or core and console, whatever they are these days, literally only ever play on the console anyway. So to give them access to play their console games either on the mobile or on the TVs or something like that, just gives them kind of another option to play, because they're not paying anyway to play the games on PC like the Ultimate guys are. which ultimately the only real thing, because the only time I ever play cloud on console is if I don't want to download the game first. I want to play it quickly to see if I like it and then see if I want to download it. It's the only time I ever really use cloud. And I think that could come in handy for people on core and or on console version of Xbox Game Pass as well. It's a kind of a try before you download scenario. As well as being able to play it on your mobile or play it on your TV. Those people aren't paying extra to play on PC Game Pass, so they don't really need to worry about that aspect. So yeah, it's good to get more people in. I don't really think it matters too much. I think my thing for Xbox Game Pass is that they still need to increase the bit rate. They still need to increase the resolution. I think ultimately they need to improve the performance of xCloud in general, because it just does not match up to the competitors.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. It's good. It's good on PC. It's good on console, but in terms of mobile play on 5G and things like that, it's not great.
No, it isn't.
So, but yeah, I think
it is a good experience now when you have a very good internet connection, when you're in your home network or something.
Wired.
But even, yeah, best if wired, of course. Although it is with Wi-Fi 6, it is a fairly good experience.
Yeah.
But you need really good and stable connection. 5G is horrible, honestly, and I've tried it before. I had the alley a lot in hotels where you had to tunnel through 1,000 different VPNs and stuff like that. Then it is an awful experience. So cloud gaming really isn't for what you might think it is, for gaming on the go. It really isn't, because on a mobile 5G connection, it's not a good experience. It's also not a good experience when you are away, like on the train, in a hotel Wi-Fi or something like that, right? Then it is really not a good experience. So that's the reason why I really don't know anyone who properly uses cloud gaming.
Have you like walked into the ether?
Oh, sorry. I'm hunting a big mosquito here in the room.
You can tell because it just sounds like you're going further and further away.
Oh, there you go. That's why I briefly turned off the camera. It was like a gigantic mosquito. I got it, bitch. Sorry for being a little distracted. You shouldn't go mosquito hunting whilst podcasting. But it annoyed the hell out of me. Anyway, listen, cloud gaming, it does sound so good. Yeah, you don't need hardware. You just click on it and play the game. But when you're at home, where you actually do have a proper internet connection, the experience is still better just playing it locally. So I really don't have a necessity to use that. And when I'm on the go, it's usually an awful experience on 5G or in a hotel Wi-Fi or something. And then I have my ROG Alley to play my games locally, and just have a good experience. So yeah, but Microsoft wouldn't do it if they wouldn't like hope to grow the numbers with that. They have obviously a much better statistics than we do. We just have our gut feeling. I really do not know anyone who regularly uses cloud gaming. Everyone I know usually plays something locally. The only thing I occasionally use is console streaming, but also only when I'm at home in my own network. So I do stream my console games to the ROG Alley and sitting in the backyard, stuff like that. But other than that, I don't use it. And I do not know anyone so who actually uses it. Maybe Microsoft sees similar numbers and they don't see the growth and they feel like, okay, we need to make it more easy to access.
Yeah.
And that's why they are putting it out in the lower tiers. Or maybe they've seen such a phenomenal growth in cloud gaming that they say, okay, we need to even make it more available, and we can afford that now to make less money from xCloud. Could be either way. They didn't really specify that. What's the reasoning behind it? At the end of the day, more gamers can play it, use it easier. I don't see a harm to us consumers, so that's good. I just sometimes wonder what's the thinking behind this, right?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
All right. Anything you want to add to the xCloud?
No, not so much. Like I say, it's a neat thing to have, but personally, I don't really use it or go near it.
Yeah.
It's very rare. Very rare. Like I say, the only time I do it is when I download something before I decide to install it. See if I like it, and then if I like it, then I maybe install it instead of playing on the cloud. I don't prefer playing on the cloud as a primary because it can have its issues. Part of its issues are every now and again the bit rate will completely break, and then you just end up with like a really mad pixelated image that just doesn't correct itself. And the quality just degrades, and you're like, I can't be playing it like this, and so then you just stop playing altogether. So I choose to just like I say, play on cloud to test something before I decide to install it fully.
Yeah. See, I don't even use that. Let us know in the chat if anyone is regularly using cloud streaming for whatever reason. I would really like to hear that because it is really something I don't see anyone talk about. And it could be just my bubble, and it probably is. Because if they wouldn't see growth in it, they would have already killed it off, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know anyone. I don't see anyone talk about it who actually uses this. So let us know in the chat, guys, if there's someone out there who actually uses that. Let us move to PlayStation for a minute. Something that caught my eye when scrolling through the news this week is something interesting. The PS5, the digital edition, that is very successful. A lot of people have that because who needs a disk drive in the year 2025, right?
Yeah.
They are in the latest revision. They reduced the size of the SSD by 200 gigs, which is kind of interesting. They obviously didn't put that out as a big headline, but yeah, the latest iteration of the PS5 is reportedly coming with nearly 200 gigs less storage.
Yeah, I mean, originally released with 825, and then they upped it to 1 gig. So now
725.
Was it 725? Right. Okay.
It was 725 gigs, and then you could roughly roundabout use 600 gigs because the other stuff is for OS and buffering and stuff like that. So usable storage is a little bit above 600. If they reduce that now by 200, it leaves you with ballpark 450, right? 400 to 450 gigs of usable SD storage. Of course, prices didn't change, right?
Nope.
I don't know. What are your thoughts, man?
It's penny pinching by a company that could quite easily shoulder that burden.
I agree. I find it kind of ridiculous if you buy a console at around 600 euros.
The cost of SSDs now are it's come on. You did.
Come on. This is a hit you definitely can take.
Yeah, 100%.
Or at
Especially
least
that
pass it on
they're
to the
buying
customers.
it in. They're buying it wholesale. They're getting like
Yeah.
massive orders of these consoles generated. It's not like us and me and you going to the store and buying a 1 terabit SSD for like $100. They're not paying $100 for an SSD for every unit. They're not doing that.
It's not even $100.
Not even half, exactly. Barely even that. Barely probably a third or less of the cost that we pay.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I do agree. Doing that is so silently, you know, just removing 200 gigs, sell it for the same price. I don't think that's a really good move. It just shows you how messed up this whole hardware situation is this entire gen. I've been gaming for 35 plus years now. I'm 42 years old. I started at the age of 6 or 7 years. And I can't remember a time where the hardware situation in a generation is so messed up. I know that we started in the middle of the pandemic where supply chains have been struggling simply for logistical reasons, right? But then it was the first gen ever, where we had price increases. PlayStation increased their console prices, not reduced them 2 years into the generation. Then Xbox followed suit. And now the consoles, we are 5 years into this console generation, and usually the console prices have gone down by $200 or so this time in. And all we see, PlayStation increased the console prices in the US recently again, right? Also for the PS5 Pro. Still cheaper than in Europe though, but they raised those prices. Xbox has raised the prices, and that is 5 years into this gen. And then they remove now storage size quietly, charging you still the same price.
I've never known a generation where I've bought a console at the beginning of the generation and it's exactly the same price as when I'm halfway through, if not near the end of the gen. Like, I've never.
I mean, I bought the Series X and the PS5 at 500, right?
Yeah.
If you go out now, and the recommended selling price point is now at 600. It is $100 more now, 5 years into the gen.
Yeah.
It is really, really a weird gen. And it will be even more weirder next gen. I think especially on the Xbox side of things, when they remove subsidized hardware as a business model,
Yeah.
with Steam and Epic and everything coming to the console, right? They kind of need to recoup that money that they lose from not selling uniquely their storefronts and people buying games on other storefronts where they don't get a cut. And subsidized hardware is no more.
Yeah.
Right. It'll be even more weird next gen. So yeah, kind of a bad move on Sony's side. Will it hurt sales though? I hardly doubt it. I highly doubt it. Most people will not even notice. Anyway, Dutch, during our summer break, Gamescom happened.
It did.
It did. Just like every Gamescom, usually Gamescom isn't this place where tons of new announcements are happening, right?
Yeah.
That was like the thing of E3. E3 is no more, but we have still the showcase season in June. That's where you get all the latest game announcements. And of course, at the end of the year during the Game Awards. But Gamescom usually isn't the place where you get big announcements, but you get to play a lot of the games that have been already announced, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like this was very similar this year again. Of course, there were a couple of cool things to see. Resident Evil, for instance, we got gameplay on that. It looks fantastic. I love the option to go in between third and first person mode.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to play it in third person mode. I love playing in third person if I have the option. It does look fantastic, but I don't want to go through the entire Gamescom announcements and everything because, well, I feel like bad luck for us that we had to take the break during Gamescom.
Yeah.
But it was like 2 weeks ago already. But I definitely want to talk to you about the Rock Alley because I feel like that
Yes.
was the biggest talking point out of
But one thing we still
Gamescom.
didn't officially get was a price.
That is so weird, right? Because we
Yeah.
got a release date on October 16th, which is in a little bit more than a month now.
Yeah.
And pre-orders and price point is still not up. So let's start with that. What's up with that? Why didn't we get that? It was the perfect thing to do that, right?
Yeah.
They had that thing. They had the ROG Xbox LE and the ROG Xbox LEX at the booth. People got to play it on the Xbox booth. They got to play it on the Asus booth. Lots of hands-on, and we'll talk about some of those hands-on impressions in just a bit. But yeah, it would have been like, and it got the mind share, right? It was the biggest talking point, the ROG LE, Xbox ROG LE, during Gamescom. Perfect occasion to announce not just the date, because we got that, but also, of course, pre-orders are up now, and that's when you need to announce the price, obviously. But so, what's up with that, man?
My only thinking around it is that due to global economics, they're leaving it till last minute to decide on the price point. That's my only thinking behind it. To kind of say, let's see how things go. Let's see whether or not tariffs are agreed or disagreed. Let's see how things pan out. Because, of course, as much as we don't like it to be the case, but it is the case, a lot of things like chip manufacturing and parts and things like that are China, like Asian territories, and then they're sent over to the US or the UK or Europe for assembly for the rest of the kit and then distributed. And of course, with the US tariff war essentially against every nation that it wants to kind of put tariffs on, and things still under negotiations or not under negotiation, I think a lot of things like that are kind of under the we'll hold as much as we can before we decide on an official price, and then we'll go for it. I still would have liked to know a ballpark figure as to how much we can expect, even if they do need to change that figure kind of close at the time.
I mean, let's be realistic. Ballpark figures are for the standard ROG Xbox LE. I still don't know why they didn't call it the Xbox LES. It would have been like the logical thing, but anyway, ballpark is 600, and the ROG LEX.
I think you could say ballpark 600 to 700
900
on the base and 800 to 900 on the X.
Yeah, somewhere that is the ballpark figures, right? But I feel like pricing is very crucial for that thing, because the problem is, I know that Xbox is not trying to market it that way, and of course Asus is not marketing it that way. But the thing does nothing new. The thing does exactly what every other gaming handheld that is out there already does for many years. There's not one single game on that thing that you cannot play on your Lenovo Legion Go or on the Xbox, on the ROG LE that I already have for, what now, 3 years or so?
Yeah.
It really does not do anything new in that kind of way. You You can access your games from all storefronts because these are PCs, right? They run Windows. You can play your Steam games. You can play your Epic library. You can play your PC Xbox library. You can play the Game Pass games. You can play cloud. You can do console streaming already on all those devices. It does really not do anything new in that kind of regard. It does look new because it has a new Windows overlay, and which is exciting in itself. But games wise, it is just a PC and plays what every other PC and every other PC handheld can do. And so pricing, I feel, is very crucial because some of these devices are out there for 2-3 years now, right? You can get them pretty cheap now. And I know it has the set to extreme chip in there, and this is exciting because it's got more power. Obviously, that's exciting, and I'm looking forward to that. And it got more RAM than the regular LE and the Lenovo Legion Go, and it comes down to it has better specs, right?
Yeah.
That's it. But that's it. And so pricing is really, really critical. And I do agree with your analysis. I feel like the global economics and the tariff situation, you kind of want to hold off as long as possible and see if you cannot do 600 instead of 650 for the base one, and do 850 instead of 900 or something like that. You kind of want to hold off. But it is also kind of weird to see that new hardware is coming out. The excitement of Gamescom is already kind of gone, and you could have gotten in so many pre-orders if you would have just announced the price during Gamescom, because everyone
I don't know about you,
hyped.
but I don't pre-order a product that I don't know the price of.
You cannot do that.
Yeah.
At least in Europe, this is legally forbidden. You have to get a price. That's why the pre-orders are not up yet. I would assume, maybe someone in the chat knows, that it's very similar in the US, and I feel like it's probably the same in the UK as well.
The only place you can do it is in store, where you can put a deposit down.
Yeah, that's technically not a pre-order. That's then more you can reserve one.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's really called in English, but it's not, that is technically not a pre-order. Yeah, you got the right to get the first units that come in, but it's not technically a pre-order. Proper pre-order, you need to have a price, obviously. When you buy something, you need to know the price.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it can't be too far off because that thing comes out in 5 weeks now.
Yeah.
So they kind of have to give us that price point really soon. But yeah, kind of weird to not do it. But I agree. I feel like they want to hold off on the price point as long as possible to see where the whole tariff situation will go. Because the last thing you want to do is change the price this season. You can't increase the price before Christmas is over, and you cannot reduce the price before Christmas is over. So the price you choose now, you kind of have to leave it at that for at least the calendar year 25.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the price thing. Dutch. Then tons of people got their hands on. Of course, not just the big influencers, but every visitor at Gamescom had the chance to play that thing. And a lot of different opinions are out there. And you've seen tons of them. I know that. So I wanted to get your thoughts, man, on the impressions.
A lot of people were surprised by the base model.
Yes.
But ultimately, if I'm going to be buying a handheld, I'm not going to be getting the base model regardless.
I agree.
I don't care if it's, oh my god, it's super good for what it is. You can't say it is super good for what it is without knowing its price point. You can be, oh, it's really good. What if it's $700 and the next model up is 800?
For the sake of argument, let's assume it's 6 and 900, which is more or less a realistic scenario, right? Just for the sake of argument. At 600, you feel it's a good thing? Because I've seen that as well. But then everyone got to play Forza Horizon 5 on that thing.
Yep.
And I don't know if that's the best game to judge the performance.
Absolutely not, because Forza Horizon 5 is unbelievably optimized.
Yes.
It's unbelievably... What you need to be putting to showcase your handheld is a game that isn't typically the best optimized game.
Yeah.
Like Forza Horizon 5 can run on almost everything at a decent level with decent performance.
And what we've seen from early benchmarks of the chips, right? The Z2 that is in the base Xbox LE, right, was compared in early benchmark leaks towards, of course, the Z1 and the Z1 Extreme. The Z1 Extreme being the higher end chip that is in the current ROG LE.
Yeah.
And the Z1 Extreme still outperformed in most scenarios in benchmark analysis. Those weren't like official benchmarks. So, of course, we all take everything with a grain of salt. But the Z1 Extreme was still outperforming the base Z2. So the one that I have, basically what I'm saying is the one that I already have for 2 or 3 years now, is more performant. And I can tell, I've played, for instance, nearly the entire Assassin's Creed Shadows on that thing.
Yeah.
And that was a game where I was really like, oh, man, I want a little bit more power in my ROG LE. I need that more.
Yeah.
And Doom. And I remember, and Doom is also actually a really pretty good optimized game.
Yeah.
Right? But I wish I had a little bit more power in there.
Yeah.
And even playing some of the latest games, Gears Reloaded, of course, I can play it at medium settings. But hey, that's like a remaster of a 20-year-old game. I wanna get a bit better settings in there. When you look at games like Cyberpunk, it runs great, but let me have a little bit higher settings. So yeah, I agree. I wouldn't judge the performance of the base LE.
Nope.
LES, right? With Forza Horizon 5. That's not...
I feel like some conferences like this as well can often open up to people who haven't used a PC handheld before. And therefore they don't know what to benchmark against. So people who have never used an Ali before, and then they play the Ali standard, the new Xbox Ali standard, and they go, "Oh god, this is really good." You're like, "Yeah, but if it's less performant than the current Ali X, then that's not a good thing." So what about?
I agree.
What about the big one? The big one's the one we're really bothered about. But then again, it's people who haven't potentially played the Steam Deck or the current Ali X or the Lenovo Legion or any of these current models to benchmark against what they have, or even brought their own with them to go, right, let's try this. Right now, let's go over to this and we'll try this. Okay. Like if you went this year, you could have theoretically brought your personal one with you, installed the same game that they're demoing, and went, right, let's see what the performance is like. See
That's
what
the thing.
the quality's like.
That's the thing. And this is actually my problem. You bring up a great point, because that's my problem with a lot of these hands-on impressions that I've seen. Not everyone, but too many of them. I feel like people had for the first time a PC handheld in their hand. Then you're obviously surprised. When you play at such a small screen, everything looks crisp and sharp.
Yeah.
Can turn You play Cyberpunk, you turn it to low settings, and on that little screen, it still looks good.
Well, this is why I always laugh though when people kind of target Nintendo on the graphical fidelity front. I'm like,
yeah,
but come on, what the vast majority of people aren't playing the Nintendo Switch in docked mode. Like, the vast majority of people are playing Nintendo Switch in handheld, and when you're playing in handheld, everything looks much crisper as a handheld mode. And it's exactly the same with any other handheld. You play it in handheld, it looks absolutely fantastic. It's when you dock it that you go, okay.
Exactly. And most of the PC handhelds out there, the Lenovo, the current ROG Ally, already do have a 120 hertz screen. And a 120 hertz screen is fantastic. But people are not used to playing on that. Especially when it's that little, right? They might have a big TV now, where they are playing then in the 60 hertz mode, because most games only support 60 hertz. But this is a PC, so you always have the 120 hertz refresh rate, right? And then even 30 FPS look much smoother than you are used to. And then people say, oh, this is great performance. It feels fluent. And it does. Don't get me wrong. But it's a lot of the hands-ons that I've seen, I feel like people are just surprised by how good PC handheld gaming actually is, rather than actually judging how good is the ROG Xbox Ally or and ROG Xbox Ally X, right? And the same goes for the features that it supports. I've touched on this earlier a little bit, but yes, Xbox is advertising it as this is an Xbox now. And I get the reasoning behind it and everything. But at the end of the day, it is not an Xbox console, because you cannot play your Xbox console games. It's a PC console. It's a PC, period. It is that. You can play every game that you can play on PC. And then I've seen a lot of people this gives you so many options. You can stream your games if you cannot play them natively. Yeah, well, but you can do that on every other PC handheld as well.
Yeah.
And you can console stream that to that device. Yes, I've been doing that for 3 years now on my current ROG Ally.
Yeah.
You can also do that on a Lenovo or your PC or anything else, right? That is a PC that runs Windows. And I've seen barely anyone touch upon the real, actually new features, and that is the new Windows experience, because people cannot judge that, right? Because also, it is a new overlay that aggregates your games, and you can boot up from one place your games from Steam, from Epic, and from Game Pass. The thing is, you can already do that on your current ROG Xbox Ally.
Yeah.
Everything has, all those devices do have, well, third-party software. In this case, the Armory Crate. Unify shows you all the games you've installed. You click on it, and it starts, and that's it. The interesting part, the only really interesting part about this new Xbox Windows experience is how do they handle updates? Because that's the one shitty thing about all these PC handhelds, that you do not have aggregated, accumulated updates. You have to separately update Windows, you have to separately update your drivers each individually. You have to separately update your BIOS. You have to separately update your armory crate. And then when you turn that thing on after not having played on it for 2 weeks, you have to do 5 separate updates, and you have to go into 5 separate apps to do those updates. That's the one really annoying part about all these PC handhelds. And I wonder if that is going to be fixed with the new Windows. That would be the really interesting question. And nobody could answer that because you cannot test that at Gamescom, how that will work, right? Other than that, of course, we all hope by this new Windows that all these background bullshit processes of Windows are reduced to give better overhead to games. That games have more RAM, that games have less overhead from Windows that they can use for better frame rates, for everything, for higher settings, and so on. But how good that new Windows actually is when you come, because that's the one thing that the Steam Deck really has the advantage right now, is it doesn't run on Windows.
Yeah.
Right? With its Linux OS, it does have the big advantage, and we hope that it's going to be fixed with this new Windows version. But that's all things that nobody at Gamescom with their hands-on impressions could actually test.
Yep.
How much is the overhead of Windows actually reduced? How do the updates work? And so on. Because having all your games in one spot is nothing new. I already have that on my existing ROG Ally. It's just not under the label of Windows, it's under the label of Armory Crate, but I don't care. I turn the thing on, Armory Crate boots up, I click on the game and I play it, no matter whether it's from Steam, Epic, or Game Pass, right?
Yeah.
So this is really something where I was super surprised that everyone was like, oh, this is such a revolutionary device, and you have all your games in one place, and you can console stream, and you can cloud stream, and you... Listen, I'm excited for the device. I don't want to down-talk this. I like having more RAM. It has 24 gigs of RAM. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to more power with the Z2 Extreme. I'm looking forward to the bigger battery life. And I'm looking forward to see if the new Windows experience actually reduces all these issues. I'm looking forward to all of that. And I'm going to buy one day one, no doubt. I was honestly a little bit surprised by how bad the hands-on reporting was, because nobody asked the real questions.
Yeah.
I don't know how you see it, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was kind of to be expected for me. I think it was with these consumer events, even if it was by people who work in the game industry, a lot of them still haven't used PC handhelds.
Yeah.
And therefore, a lot of the time, they're just used to writing reviews, not specifically on hardware and hardware capabilities, but software and how software works and how games are and how games are reviewed. Not necessarily being tech enthusiasts that understand and want to know more questions about the technology or how things work or how things run. So when they're doing these impressions and things like that, they don't think about the technological aspect behind these things. They just think about, okay, well, how does the game run?
Yeah.
And that's what you see every time a new console releases as well. It's not necessarily about the technology behind that particular equipment. It's just how good does the game run? And of course, for the general consumer, game performance is one of the key things they want to know about. As a PC user, you need to know about how well the background tasks are optimized and how well things are more user-friendly, because what you don't want is to have an actual PC experience on the go, because then it becomes an annoyance, not something that is going to be handy for on-the-go gaming. Because like you said, you could have not used your handheld for 2 weeks, and then you've got a trip planned, and you just pick your handheld up, and you completely forget to do anything, And then you turn it on when you're on the plane and update, and you're like, oh, can't use it.
Exactly.
And you're stuck.
That's the thing. That's the thing about this. And I wonder, I feel like Xbox and Microsoft are trying to address a lot of these issues. They definitely have in mind to do this, to develop Windows into a better experience for games, right? And I want to give them credit for that, no doubt. But we didn't get any of the real interesting questions for all those handheld owners out there. For everyone who's new to this, you can also buy a ROG Ally right now, or a Lenovo Legion Go, or any of these PC handhelds, right? And get a very similar experience because it's great. Handheld PC, handheld gaming is fantastic. And we kind of have to separate that general excitement for handheld gaming from how good is this device. And I've barely seen anyone touch on that, right? Also, the big question about battery life in general wasn't really answered because all those LEs were obviously docked and attached to a power supply, so we didn't get the answers there. The one thing we did get the answers is about the form factor, and a lot of people said, well, it feels very comfortable and very similar to holding a controller, and I appreciate that. Not that the current the current ROG Ally is uncomfortable. I played through South of Midnight in 8 hours straight on that thing, and it was absolutely comfortable in my hands. But having these proper grips and everything, I'm looking forward to that, and I hear that it really feels very similar to having an actual controller in the hand, which is great. And it's something new, right, on this device. And everything else, we will talk about that in depth as soon as we have it in our hands. That's how you're feeling on that. When would you, at which price point would you like pre-order one?
I mean, I want to get one anyway, but I'd much prefer it was closer to 800 than it was to 900.
Yeah.
But no, I probably won't be getting mine until maybe December, January.
All right. I will definitely pre-order one.
I mean, I'm in no mad rush, and I don't foresee them being ultimately hard to come by over here. PC handhelds in the UK aren't like mega popular.
Very similar here in Germany, but I don't care about popularity.
No, what I mean is more about due to lack of popularity, the availability is better.
Yeah,
is more what I mean. It's more. That's more what I mean. Due to lack of popularity,
they are not going to be sold out that quickly, and
exactly
you will be able to get one in November or December or whenever. Yeah. Well, I use my Ally a lot, and I really do enjoy that experience. So I'm definitely going to get one.
Well, like I say, I love. I'm so thankful that the Switch 2 is such a big improvement over the first Switch.
Yeah.
That I've really enjoyed being in handheld again. So it has given me more of, and especially, like I say, now the older I get, I appreciate coming in from work and just being able to pick it up and sit on the settee and do that instead of turning everything on and coming in front of the big TV and setting up the room and getting into the chair and getting the controller. And sometimes you can't be bothered to do all of that when you get in from work. You just want to pick it up, go and lie in bed after you've had some food and just, there we go, just play a game for an hour and then put it down on the table, go to sleep.
And you're gonna love the LEX.
But ultimately, that's what I'm.
That's why I use it so much. Yeah, in the evening, I'm sitting outside in my backyard, playing for an hour, something casually, you know.
And that's what I've tend to
play.
found now. Like, after you get the initial excitement out the way of playing a new handheld or a new device, specifically handhelds, when you first get it, you play it for like 4 or 5 hours at a go, and you're plugging it in to charge it whilst you're playing it because the charger's going down so quick and it's heating up and things like that. And then after a while, you tend to find you pick it up for a quick hour and maybe half an hour or something like that, and then you put it down again. And it's just a freedom of being able to just go, yeah, I'll just have a quick hour here and put it down.
Yeah. So, man, let's stay with handhelds. The PS6 handheld specs got leaked this week. We had that rumor, like, I want to say at least 9 months ago.
Yeah.
In that ballpark, that Sony is apparently also working on a handheld, a hybrid handheld that you can also obviously dock for the PS6. And Moore's Law is one of the probably the best hardware leaker out there. He's been proven more than one time to be very accurate with his leaks. He's somehow connected in the chip industry, doesn't get his leaks from like the OEMs, like from a Sony or from a Microsoft or something. He's more in the chip industry. He gets his leaks from TSMC and AMD and Intel and so on. And he leaked the early specs of this device, which kind of sounds interesting. He leaked that the PS6 handheld will feature a Canis APU, which is a monolithic APU, which is very different than the approach that we heard a couple of weeks ago from Microsoft with the Magnus APU, where they have separate dies for the CPU and GPU. So it's a monolithic die approach. It's factored on a 3 nanometer node, which isn't surprising if you target 28 release or something. It has 4 Zen 6 CPU cores, which is also realistic for a 28 release window, plus minus, of course. Yeah. With 6 cores each. It has an RDNA 5 GPU with 16 compute units. He also leaked the clock rates that it can run with. He specified that it doesn't necessarily mean that they will run at the 1.2 gigahertz and 1.6 in docked mode gigahertz, but that the chip actually can do it. And it has a memory controller for support of up to 48 gigs of RAM. Doesn't mean that the handheld will have 48 gigs.
God, that would be excessive for a handheld.
It's more probably in the ballpark of 16 to 24, but the controller actually can support up to 48 gigs.
Yeah.
And all the other typical stuff, touchscreen support, micro SD slot, and so on. With that, obviously, it would be, and that were the headlines that got picked up. It would be more powerful than the ROG Xbox LEX that comes out in October this year. Of course. I mean, 2 years. And I was like, again, this just shows me how many of these so-called media websites and also, honestly, a lot of the so-called content creators have no idea on anything technical. 2 years in the PC market is a long freaking time.
Yeah.
In the hardware space.
It's really weird that they would go with any form of article that would say, this is faster than this console. Well, yeah,
Of
obviously, because this
course.
one's releasing in 2025 and that one's releasing in 2028. I would expect it to be quicker and faster and more powerful in 3 years' time than a console that's
Yes.
releasing this year.
I mean, listen, you could also like, oh, surprise! I got an inside leak. Dutch, the NVIDIA 6080 card will be more powerful than the 5080 you can
I
get
don't
now.
believe you. How dare it? How dare this futuristic card be better than the
try-
one from this year?
Source is to trust me. Yeah. So it's got to be fact. It's like ridiculous. It does
My
sound
sources tell me
realistic.
that Windows 12 is going to be horrific, just like Windows 11.
You're such an insider, man. Such an insider. Listen, I mean, it does sound realistic. The one thing that is, to me, the most interesting thing about all of these tech specs is that it seems to be a real thing. Because so far we have only heard it from, well, dude, trust me, I've heard that Sony is also working on that sources.
Yeah.
But with Moore's Law being one of the most reliable tech leakers out there, it really does sound that Sony is also working on a handheld.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you look at the success of the Switch, and now also the Switch 2, which is selling like gangbusters, right? With the success of the Steam Deck, with the hype around all these PC handhelds, and it looks like Microsoft is still working on, well, one that is not from Asus but from Microsoft, right?
Yeah.
For the next gen, it is only logical that Sony is also taking this approach and then release like a regular PlayStation, more beefy, more juice, and a handheld, right? And this handheld specs, it does sound like it could run patched PS5 games, right? That developers really do not have to optimize or develop dedicated games for that, but that they can more or less run the base PS5 version on it with some issues, little less frame rates here and there, maybe little less resolution, but they can use their versions of that of the PS5, which then also makes like a support on there much better. It is also very interesting to see that Sony is taking a dedicated die approach. I find I think Microsoft has learned that lesson from a Series S and X approach, that it is not a good idea to have two different, like real hardware configurations, different RAM with different bandwidths, a different architect. Well, the base architecture is the same, but you know what I mean. Different layouts and chip clocks and everything, things that you need to optimize separately. The approach that leaked from Microsoft with the Magnus APU, to have like, okay, this is our CPU, this is our GPU, to have that not in a monolithic die, is much smarter because it makes scalability for developers much easier. You do not have to develop two different versions of the game.
Yeah.
You can easier scale across, like on PC, where you have to scale and optimize across millions of different hardware configurations, right?
Yeah.
That's a very much more developer friendly approach, and it's kind of, if AMD is working on such a chiplet, it is kind of weird to see that Sony is not taking a similar approach, but they are still going for a monolithic die approach, where they will end up with a similar situation like Xbox is now with the Series S and X, that you simply have two different hardwares that and developers have to optimize for both hardware configurations separately.
Yeah.
That is the most interesting part about this leak. So I don't know how you feel about this.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, that's the only thing that really let them down this year was the multiple configurations. I think the power difference isn't really too much of an issue. I think it was just the multiple.
That's not the case. It's just the fact that you have two different hardware configurations that you really have to optimize for, because both have separate or different monolithic APUs inside of them.
Yeah.
You have different bandwidths. You cannot rely on, okay, this has simply less RAM, but it's not just less RAM, it's different speed of RAM.
Different
so you have to
speeds
optimize for that.
CPU, GPU, everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They scale differently, right? And that's the thing. But sorry, I interrupted.
No, it's all right. But like I say, that is ultimately the only thing that really let them down on this multi-SKU approach was the fact that they were just simply clocked differently for both of them, which required much more work for them in the first place. And of course, it was unfortunate. The idea behind it was fantastic. The execution, not so much.
Yeah.
So it's lessons learned though, and unfortunately in business you have to either learn those lessons and improve, or learn those lessons and walk away.
Yeah.
And thankfully they kind of learning these lessons and improving, but in a different way. Like you say, we're going down the handheld approach as opposed to a multi-SKU approach on the physical console. So we know we're getting a physical console in a hybrid approach next time, whilst also getting another SKU in handheld, which will be again in the same vein, because it's more of a PC configuration as it is. It won't require the level of hard work that it would require in order to get these things running on each.
Yeah.
You don't have to configure for two consoles, as it were. You literally just have to configure for PC.
Exactly. And you choose two configurations for PC, one for the high-end console, one for the low-end handheld, and you're done with optimizing, right? You don't have to really get in and take care of that dedicated silicon. So yeah, interesting stuff there, man. I still find it weird that so early in a generation we are talking so much about what is going to happen next gen. When you think about it, the talks about next gen started 1.5, 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think it's just because of how lackluster the hardware has been in general. I think they've been mildly successful on PlayStation's front, but in terms of a generation on the game side of things, the first half of this generation, from a game standpoint, from a first party standpoint, yes, Microsoft started to improve now, but now they've completely changed their strategy where the exclusivity aspect is now irrelevant.
Yeah.
Whereas on PlayStation's side, they started the console generation as a cross-gen approach, even though they lied about it. And now the rest of the gen has been completely lackluster in the amount of games that they're releasing as exclusives. And now they're starting to release some of their games on Xbox as well. So it's been such a weird generation that it now weirdly makes sense to start talking about, okay, what's next? Because this generation's just completely went out the window.
Absolutely.
And then you talk about the unfortunate aspect of so many geopolitical problems causing pricing to just be erratic and increasing. Like, there's never been a generation where a console that you bought 5 years ago is more expensive now than it was when it originally released, which makes absolutely no sense. But that's the economy we're in. And it's not like we've got new hardware with new capabilities. We're talking 5-year-old hardware that is still 5-year-old and it's still priced more, even though it's not any faster, it's not any more performative, it's not doing anything different. It's still the same equipment, other than the Pro, but even then, it's still not greatly improved how things go, and yet everything's significantly more from a cost standpoint. So from there, it makes complete sense as to why everyone's like, let's just get rid of this gen and move on.
Yeah. Weird gen.
Yeah.
Super weird.
Super weird.
All right. Let's move on from next gen. Let's look ahead. Tokyo Game Show is
close-ish.
I forgot. Close-ish. 2 weeks.
Is it 2 weeks,
right?
Is it?
Yeah. I think. So, let me check. Tokyo. Yeah. Thursday 25th till Sunday 28th.
Oh.
September. Well, 3 weeks.
Well, there's only one rumor I've heard about Tokyo Game Show. And that was because of a silly post that a car company put up. And then
let's hear it.
Forza Horizon.
Oh, yes.
A car company.
Chess Corden also had some insights and saw some documentations and posted that on Windows Central. Forza Horizon 6 might be revealed there.
Yeah, and that makes a bit of sense when you know that the car that the company that had put an unfortunate post up that and then deleted, they were visually mapping a specific Japanese car that was really hard to come by. And they were like, oh, it's really cool to have the team of Forza Horizon here to map the cars. Like, these are super rare and things like that. And, of course, everyone who knows Japanese cars was like, there's absolutely no reason why you'd be mapping this car in if it was based anywhere other than Japan. Because this is, like, super niche.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't put this in a game otherwise. It's like a tiny little... It wasn't even a cool car. It was like a tiny little weird Japanese minivan type thing. And then they obviously deleted the post, and everyone was like, "Right, it has to be in Japan this time round. It has to be. There's no other reason why they do that."
Well, and then again, Chess Corden leaked it. He said he saw some documentations and has some insights there that it will be revealed at Tokyo Game Showcase, and it is indeed Forza Horizon 6 in Japan. And if it is in Japan, it would absolutely make sense to reveal that game there.
I mean, it's been a long time coming. People have been asking for that for so long.
And it kind of makes sense. Right? After the UK in Forza Horizon 4 and Mexico in 5, why not go to Japan, right? Absolutely makes sense. And I cannot wait, man. I do hope. What are your hopes before I tell you mine? What are your hopes that Forza Horizon does newly, except a new setting?
They need to do something a bit different. They need to add other gameplay capabilities. They need to add bikes. They need to do.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
Different kinds of challenges.
Bikes or trucks or something.
Planes.
Something new. Yeah, maybe planes. Although plane, I mean...
Speedboats, maybe.
Flying speedboats, yeah.
Just essentially, they need to just expand upon it and do more with it. And I think...
Exactly.
For me, as well, compared to 4 and even 3, Forza Horizon 5 didn't really have these big set-piece races as much as they did in the previous ones. Like, in the previous ones, you even had those ones with, like, Halo and it was like really cool how they implemented that, and they had
Yeah.
these really big mad set piece ones, and then it kind of, you had them at the very beginning of Forza Horizon 5, and then you never seen them again. And then the set pieces that you did get in these like marathon races were really not that great. So I think, yeah, and even saying that, maybe they need to, especially if they're thinking about expansions, they need to do something new. Like they did Hot Wheels, they've done Hot Wheels twice now, and when they released Hot Wheels for a second time in 5, I was like, eh. I understand people enjoyed it in the previous one, but it's been done before. Do something new. So yeah, for me, it's just they just need to provide more. I think there wasn't enough there to really keep you coming back after a while. It was just a lot of same. Even a lot of the rally stuff, well, the rally expansion was cool, but it wasn't really rally courses, as it were. And if you're going to be doing rally, you need to do rally courses, and it wasn't really that. It was like in a jungle and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It was.
I agree. Something new, and I feel like it's the obvious choice to add motorbikes or again trucks or something different that we have not driven in past.
And if they're going to be, let's face it as well. If they're going to be going into Japanese car culture in Japan, they need to be starting to do some wild body kits and like undercar LED lighting and like mad stuff that you'd seen in like Tokyo Drift and Need for Speed back in the day, because Japanese car culture and especially the kind of stuff around there is very much this like really wild styling on cars and like undercar LEDs and things like that. So they need to be, there's a lot of things they need to be doing for, especially if it's based in Japan.
Yeah, agree. So yeah, man, it would be cool to see it. I mean, Phil Spencer kind of hinted at this year's June showcase already that 26 is the year where Gears, Forza, and Halo, or he didn't say Halo, he did say I can't remember his exact phrasing.
A core franchise that's been with us since the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. A core franchise from the beginning. So it's basically Gears, Forza, and Halo next year. But Forza, he literally said that. So we know it's not gonna come out as a surprise title this year. It's gonna be a next year game. And since every Forza Horizon game has released in the September-October window, right? I bet that's a safe thing for that time window. Nevertheless, I'd love to see it, man. Looking forward to it, and looking forward to see what they've done with 6. What else is at Tokyo Game Show? Kojima talked about being there, showing new stuff, and he didn't say which games he's going to show, or if it's just one game or multiple games, but he's got something new to show. I mean, the obvious guess would be that it's going to be OD, right?
Yeah, or the PlayStation game is out.
But isn't that going to come out after OD?
Possibly.
I would assume so. Come on. If that game comes out before OD, then OD is simply a marketing scam. I would assume that it's going to be OD.
You would assume so, just simply based on the fact that Death Stranding 2 released not too long ago.
Exactly. And then it's OD, and after OD, he will go to the next thing. So I assume that it's going to be OD. It also kind of makes sense because PlayStation is not going to have a presence there, right?
Which is really weird.
But they haven't been there for many years now. I want to say at least 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah.
They haven't been at Tokyo Game Showcase. as well as Gamescom, by the way. They are also not here anymore. They've gone completely off the grid at any showcases. They don't do their own showcases anymore. They don't show up at Tokyo showcase. They don't show up at Gamescom. So, but Xbox gonna have a presence there.
Yep.
And if Kojima shows something new, it kind of makes sense that it's gonna be OD, right?
Yep.
Anything else you expect from Tokyo Game Showcase?
Not particularly.
I would assume we see more Final Fantasy stuff for Xbox. I would assume that
I mean,
Square's...
we don't have an official 7 remake release date yet.
Exactly. We don't have a date yet. I could potentially even see that they are going to announce what they are going to do with Part 2. Rebirth, thank you.
Yeah.
I could potentially see that.
Yeah, like announce a release date for next year.
Yeah, exactly. Or not even next year, or window, or something. Just it's coming, something like that. I could see that. But other than that, I do not expect any major announcements coming out of it.
Yep, same.
But hey,
I mean, not.
If we get to see Forza Horizon 6, if we get to see OD,
no major announcements from me and Boxy. For people who maybe like Persona or things like that, you probably will see something that you're super hyped about. But for me and Boxy, if it isn't OD, and if it isn't like Final Fantasy related and Forza Horizon 6, anything else with your anime, manga, whatever it is that you like, that type of stuff. That's it.
Maybe we get to see more of Octopath Traveler 0.
Of what?
Octopath Traveler 0.
Possibly.
But I'm already sold. That's gonna be my Christmas
feel like,
game,
I don't know, has Square Enix got their own presence at Tokyo Game Show as well?
I don't know.
Because I feel like if they did, they might see Kingdom Hearts there. If Square Enix have got their own presence. I feel like Kingdom Hearts
I'm not sure what's going on with that game. I mean, how long has it been since we got the announcement for the next Kingdom Hearts?
A while.
I want to say 3 years at least. And they've gone completely off the grid.
Super quiet.
To just pull it out at a Tokyo Game Showcase. I don't know. I'm not sure, but could be. Could be, man. All right, Dutch. Let us move to the community questions. As always, we put up posts on all the social channels, on YouTube, on X, on Blue Sky, and people can write in questions. And so, or topics. Sometimes people even write in just comments that they would like us to discuss. And we do not hide that behind any paywalls, so everyone can write in. And the first question of this week comes from our good friend Sith Lord. And he asks this, Dutch. What is the next game from PlayStation coming to Xbox? I mean, after Helldivers 2?
God knows. Spidey 2018 or Days Gone or one of the old games.
I'm honestly not sure if that's going to be the next game. I think Sony is still internally struggling with releasing their core pillar franchises on Xbox. Helldivers 2 is different. This is a second-party deal. It is not developed by a first-party studio. It is different.
It is the first published PlayStation published game to Xbox.
Published but not developed, and there's a difference.
Yeah.
I personally would.
It also is selling quicker on Xbox than it did on PlayStation.
We'll get to that in a second because that's another question here. But I know it's successful. I know it makes sense because the gaming landscape is shifting. And I'm not saying I don't want it. I'm saying I feel like Sony is struggling to actually release a Last of Us on Xbox.
Oh yeah,
or
I don't
a
see that.
Spider-Man. One of these core pillar franchises from their first party studios.
Yeah.
Eventually that will be the case, but I feel like it's going to be a while. I think that the next game is going to be one where it's similar like with Helldivers. So Death Stranding 2 comes to mind, for instance.
I mean, that's not their game anyway.
Well, but they published that on PlayStation.
Yeah,
Who's
but
to say that they're
it's
not publishing
published.
it on?
It's not published by them on any other platform though. It's published by 505.
Yep. The first one, yes.
Yeah, the second one will be as well.
Who knows? Did they confirm that?
Well, Kojima's got the rights to it now.
Doesn't say anything about publishing.
Yeah, it'll be either Kojima Productions or it'll be 505.
Could be. I'm waiting for confirmation there. I'm just saying, I feel like it's the next game is gonna be still one of these games. Marathon, of course, comes to mind.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's gonna buy that.
Yeah, that on a rifle, I agree, but
that's gonna be another shutdown within a matter of weeks game.
Yeah, it will suffer a very similar fate than Concord.
Yeah,
maybe
100%.
not as quick as that, but they will let that die off more silently, you know.
Yeah.
And just not support it anymore, and then take it offline a year later, or I don't know. But I don't see that as a success. But I feel like that's one of the next things. This whole Spider-Man is now coming to Xbox thing.
I think Days Gone's got a good chance.
Maybe, but
because they killed that franchise.
Yeah, they did.
So what's the harm? They've literally already said it's not getting a sequel. So what's the harm? You may as well.
Well, they also said we are going to release 12 games as a service titles. And we know that Bend is now working on something more traditional first-party thing. Who knows? Maybe they do let them come back to it now after them killing off after 5 years in development their games as a service title. Who knows? Who knows? Archie Sentinel Gaming writes in and says this: seeing as Xbox is having horrible luck with getting games out the door that don't already belong to tentpole franchises, how are you feeling about State of Decay 3, especially with Perfect Dark getting cancelled? Well, I mean, what is safe these days, right? I would have never thought that they are going to cancel Perfect Dark. Everwild, maybe, because, well, they showed that in 2019 and then 6 years of nothing, and we've heard that it is had a reboot and everything. But with Perfect Dark, they've shown that last year, right, with extensive gameplay and tons of stuff. And now they cancel that. So what is safe in this day and age? Nothing.
Yeah.
However, I feel since the studio is so much smaller than a Rare or any of the others, it's more like State of Decay is more like a situation like Double Fine, right? It's a smaller studio, and I feel they are more safe within the Microsoft organization, because if they tell Double Fine to cut 20% of their staff, 5 people are affected, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. State of Decay 3 looked fantastic. I feel like Microsoft has invested a lot in them, with them creating a second studio just for animation work. And State of Decay 3, they don't have so many games as a service titles anymore. They have their old ones, they have their Sea of Thieves, they have their Forza Horizon, and of course Call of Duty now. Clear, yeah. But with State of Decay 3, when I look at how well they supported State of Decay 2 over the years, and it had millions and millions of players with a super small budget, I feel like State of Decay 3 is safe. And I cannot wait for it, because 2 was so good, so addicting, and I cannot wait, man. Anything you want to add before we jump to the next question?
All right. The next.
Jordan, Berserker, this writes in a short question. Helldivers 2 is a success on Xbox. Is it just one game? I mean, I think we kind of already talked about that. It's not going to be the last one, but I do not think that the whole slate is coming anytime soon.
Yeah, not soon.
I don't feel that.
Not soon. The landscape's certainly changing.
Yes, the landscape is changing. And eventually, 5 years, 10 years down the line, it's going to be very different. But at the moment, over the next 1 or 2 years, I feel Sony is still struggling with bringing tentpole franchises to other to other console platforms. Yeah. Charles Wilson writes in Dutch, and this is touching on your statement earlier. More than 926,000 units of Helldivers 2 have been sold on Xbox. More than original Helldivers 2 at launch on the PS5. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, quicker opening 6 days than it did on PlayStation, which again, I think will also definitely reinforce some views within PlayStation that they should look to potentially add more games to Xbox.
Yeah.
And it's not going to do it any harm, but it's definitely going to raise eyebrows at them and go, well, we thought it would be popular, but it's obviously it's doing better than we thought. That's pretty much 1 million in 6 days. That's good. Yeah. Really good. And that's not even and even what you can look at it in a more cynical view, I suppose, in one way, is them thinking this isn't even a tentpole franchise. This is second party. Yeah. This is like
second party. It is not one of the blockbuster things, right? Listen, but I heard Xbox gamers don't buy games.
Yeah.
See, I remember us discussing something, I want to say at least 3 years ago on the podcast, when we talked about attachment rates on the different platforms. And since PlayStation is widely known as the big console brand, especially outside of the US. Yeah, when you look here in Europe, Xbox is a nothing. The Xbox console, most people don't even know that it exists. When you think about console gaming, you think about PlayStation. It's just a fact. And that means, but that also means that PlayStation is bought by many, many casual gamers that do not buy that many games a year. They play their FIFAs and maybe their Call of Duties and their occasional Fortnite, and that's it. Yeah. I feel like Xbox is more of a brand, because if you, at least outside of the US, if you buy an Xbox, you're usually more of a video game fan and a bigger enthusiast than your average a casual gamer that buys a PlayStation because he doesn't know that Xbox exists and because all the other friends have it to play FIFA on, right?
Yeah.
So attachment rates on Xbox are better than on PlayStation. Yeah. And so this argument about, okay, because of Game Pass, people are not buying games anymore on Xbox is ridiculous. And this shows this. Xbox has also been popular and famous for their competitive shooters, for their co-op shooters, right? Their Gears, their Halos. This is right up the alley of the average Xbox gamer, rather than the God of War and Spider-Man loving PlayStation gamer. And I'm not judging here. I'm not judging. Yeah, I'm just saying this kind of game, this genre of a game that Helldivers 2 is such a typical Xbox game. You know what I mean? And for that reason, I'm still a little surprised that it's doing that well. But I'm not surprised that Xbox gamers buy those kind of games, right? And I hear nothing but good things. I have yet to play it. I haven't played it yet. But good for them, man. And hopefully it will help the discussion within Sony to bring more games over, right?
Yep. 100%.
All right, Dutch. With that, we come to an end of this week's podcast. It has been an absolute blast to be back after our summer break. It is. I want to say a big, big thank you to our awesome community. It's always fun to chat about gaming with you guys. And sorry for being absent the last 2 weeks. We had to take the summer vacation at some point, right? But we are back now, and I'm excited for what's to come. The gaming season is about to start, right? Hollow Knight Silksong is out. Indiana Jones DLC is out. Tons of other stuff is going to come out over the next couple of days and weeks. So it's a great time to be a gamer, and it's a great time to tune into the world of gaming. And I want to say again a big thank you for making it to the end. Also a big thank you to our listeners on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And Dutch, before we let everyone out, let everyone know where to find you and what you've coming up, man.
Yeah, I haven't got anything coming up specifically, to be honest. Again, just so busy with work and things at the moment. So you'll find me here on Thursdays, of course, with on the Midweek Mix-Up and on World of Gaming. On Midweek Mix-Up courses, we tick down to the big episode 200, where we then close the doors on the Midweek Mix-Up and continue solely on World of Gaming. But yeah, you'll find me here every Thursday on both of these podcasts until further notice. Hopefully, news continues to trickle in, so we can bring it more consistently over the coming weeks and not do it every other week as we have been. But yeah, it's been a pleasure to be back. You can find me everywhere at WandringDutch or WandrinDutch X. Hope everyone has an awesome night and enjoy your games.
Absolutely. So again, a big thank you. We hope to be back next Thursday, regular time, 8 p.m. Central Europe, 7 p.m. UK time, or 2 p.m. Eastern. Right. The weekend is near. Let's play some games, and we hope to see you guys next week. And don't forget to game on.
Got my number figured out, a motive born in drought and brevity. And if I'm not the soul of your design, I blatantly decline your remedy. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine. Wasn't always just a single shade, a palette full of gray in reverie. And I can burn it brighter than the sun. I have a golden gun inside of me. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else. And if I fall behind, ignoring all the signs, if I lose the fight, I still rage against the night. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd